based. Based.
We're at the Vatican, where the election of the first ever Pope from the United States has taken place today. Cardinal Robert Prevost is now Pope Leo XIV. The
Literally named the Pope. The Pope named himself after me. Okay, you can't say I'm not goated.
leader of some 1.4 billion Catholics right around the world. Well, the white smoke emanating from a chimney high above the Sistine Chapel just after 6 o'clock local time. It was frankly a bit of a shock, coming less than 2 days after the whole process began.
Yeah, like the record for the time that the conclave took is like over 1,000 days, right? And mind you, that Francis is probably like the most well liked, the most publicly well liked pope in a really long time. So it's kind of crazy to think that they had their replacement just ready to go like this, right? Um, and I think it's pretty fair to speculate that the fact that this guy is American might be like his main selling point to the conclave.
But the speed with which the cardinals had managed to find one among them to become pontiff suggested for many that this is a church united. Well, we'll have more.
They do look pretty united. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they figured that out in record time. I'm really surprised that they didn't do it in the first round. If they can do it in two, I wonder who the runner up was. I feel like that's a pretty interesting story.
Huge deal. How are you feeling right now?
It's so hilarious that the Pope's brother is just some guy in this some random neighborhood. You know, I mean, it does fill me with a sense of national pride. I'm not gonna lie, just because the institution of Christianity and Catholicism, even like just so far outdates the American project. So the fact that an American ascended his way into the papacy is just kind of cool, you know. And it's a classic celebrity story. We all like someone that grew up like us, you know. And this guy looks super regular. Good for him. Good for him. What's better than being the Pope? Being the Pope's brother, honestly.
To be honest, there hasn't been a chance to think about it because it's been constant phone calls, emails, messages, interviews. So I don't think it's really sunk in. It's kind of surreal. What initial, it's great pride. This is an awesome thing in the sense that the first, not only Pope, but first American Pope, Pope from Chicago, and a
First American Pope. Also, he's from Chicago.
relative.
Not a lot of people.
Oh, he's my
say
brother too,
my
I guess.
brother is the Pope.
That's correct. And I can now say it.
So when you found out, obviously you have pride. That's your brother. Did you expect this?
To tell you the truth, no, because I kept hearing there will never be an American Pope. Just
That's what I thought. I mean, I would think they were smarter than that. You know, I mean, obviously there's lots of smart Americans. I'm just joking, but like, America has just been such an unstable project. I feel like, you know, and again, it's like Christianity is so rooted in like long-standing traditions of countries that are like thousands of years old. So the fact that this guy ascended to this level is just so unprecedented. It is. I mean, this hasn't happened in like over 1,000 years. I mean, I guess America's only been around for 250, but still.
It's because the politics in the United States has too much world power now. They don't need
It's the
also
world power.
into the church. So I did not expect it. But when I heard he was in a group of three, then I thought, well, this could happen.
And that's the thing. It's like him being American is probably the reason why he was selected. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm sure he's well respected in his community, clearly, right? Clearly. But I mean, that must have been what hedged his bet because America is just in an unprecedented moment historically right now, you know?
When did you hear that part, and when did you know that he was maybe one of the finalists?
Maybe like a day or two after the Pope died, and they were talking about who are the runner-ups and who's in line next to be Pope. And I think I might have heard something about that at that point. Then I spoke to him Tuesday before he went into the conclave, and he just kept saying, no, that's not true, that's not true. So he's pushing it away, hoping that it would go away. It didn't go away.
Nah. They're not gonna make me the Pope, bro. They're not gonna make me the Pope, bro. No way. They ain't making me the Pope, bro. Oh, they made me Pope. Damn, that's crazy. He's just like me for real. It's just like let me not acknowledge that I like it, just so the universe gives it to me.
When you actually heard that it was your brother who was selected, where were you? Were you watching television? Were you on the phone?
I was watching TV because I was reading a book. I got a text that said there's white smoke. So I went down and turned the TV on. No one knew at that point who the Pope was, but there was white smoke, so we knew. So I was watching. I called my niece just to make sure she knew. Then we just sat there and watched it. And then she said, "Look, the curtains are moving." I said, "Oh, something's coming up." Then that French bishop came out who was going to announce it, and we heard the name, and she screamed, and I said, "Oh my gosh, here we go."
Like, oh my gosh, my brother's the Pope. Nah, that sounds so much fun. That sounds so much fun. And again, it's like I obviously have my hangups with the Catholic Church and just organized religion in general, but you can't deny that this is just kind of exciting. It's just something that's never happened before, and it's like a home team victory.
The new Pope's Twitter suggests he is pro-gun reform, supports climate action, backed Black Lives Matter, strongly opposed to MAGA immigration policies, and clearly has no patience for J.D. Vance.
No patience. No patience for JD Vance, yo. Okay? He likes black people and he likes the environment and he hates Trump immigration policies. He's woke. Read it and weep, fool. The head of the most powerful conservative organization in the world, the Catholic Church, likes woke stuff. Yeah. How you like them apples?
So I'll get to that tweet and article in a minute here. But on climate action, this is when he was a cardinal. Prevost is outspoken about the need for urgent action on climate change. He recently stressed that the church must move from words to action, warning against the harmful consequences of unchecked technological development and advocating for a reciprocal, non-tyrannical relationship with the environment. He aligns closely with Pope Francis' environmental priorities.
Based. Based. Okay? And also too, like again, he has like a math degree, so that's like a form of science. So he's not like hippy dippy. Like he doesn't believe in magic. I mean, I suppose he does. He's the Pope, but like he acknowledges that the way that we treat the environment has an adverse effect on humanity, which is not popular in the conservative crowd these days. I don't know.
This social media post from 2015 when Trump was first running for president. Why Donald Trump's anti-immigrant rhetoric is so problematic. Giving you a window into this article, give us a window into how he views this issue. American historians describe two approaches to the immigrant. One is sadly the nativists who see the unwashed, ignorant, bothersome brood as criminals and misfits who threaten pure America and are toxic to everything decent in the U.S. As journalism professor Paul Moses writes, this group believed that American society was doomed as the foundation stone of Plymouth Rock eroded with the crash of each immigrant wave. The second is the more enlightened and patriotic view. This approach sees the immigrant as a gift to our nation, realizing that the only citizens whose ancestors were not immigrants are the Native Americans. All of us here are descendants of newcomers. I'm not in the business of telling people what candidates they should support or who deserves their vote, but as a Catholic, I take seriously the Bible's teaching that we are to welcome the stranger, one of the most frequently mentioned moral imperatives in both the Old and New Testament. And
He sounds like a left-wing radical. Like, these are the articles you sharing? What? Sounds like a Marxist to me. Marxist woke Pope to me. And look, like I feel like these are basic tenets to like Christianity, right? Like, regardless of what Republicans are claiming to be in that book, the Bible does make the case for being nice to people, all right? So it's like duh, but in this hyper polarized political time that we're currently in, it just feels good to know that the guy that was elected to be moral actually has some morality, even though he's from this corrupt ass country. It's kind of sick. It's kind of dope.
that's what this piece continues to advocate for. So this is a more recent post, just a couple months ago. J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others.
He says, I know Jesus. I know him personally. You don't know him. JD, JD, you don't know him. That's my boy. I'm the Pope. If you're Catholic, you believe in me, right? You don't know shit. Like, you don't know shit, JD. So say thank you, all right? Like, and look, like, I don't even care about the Catholic religion, yo. Like, I really don't. It's like, it's just fun to gloat because it's like, that's what they would do. If the shoe was on the other foot, like, that's what they would do.
Similar message in this article as well. Nearly anything can be found in Scripture if you're looking for it. Stories of war, oppression, miracles, and love, all written by people grappling with what it meant to be faithful. The Bible is not a rigid manual, but a living testimony of human wrestlings with the divine. This I find interesting because so often religion is presented as this rigid view of the world, and you must follow this rule book essentially. But the Bible contradicts itself over and over that you can't possibly view it that way.
I mean, this guy is right. You know, I remember I watched this YouTube video one time where they said if the Bible was about vampires, it would be like Castlevania, the first two Twilight novels, Blade 3, like all just smacked into one book, right? Like, you know, we like to think of it as like a chronological story, but in reality it's a collection of texts over a span of hundreds of years. You know what I mean? That just represents the broad cultural beliefs of a people back in the before times. You know what I mean? And again, like this guy is educated. He went to American schools. Like he sees how religion can function when it's not the end all be all to society, you know? And clearly he decided to go a more enlightened path, which is awesome, you know, good for him. And he's not abandoning his time in the secular world, is from what it looks like.
Because it wouldn't make any sense. Then you just pick and choose whatever rule you want to follow. The overall message of the Bible is around Jesus and love, and that's what this gets into. So the idea is that love must be ranked. This is the J.D. Vance view, that a person rightly prioritizes their affections with family on top. In some ways, it sounds practical, even reasonable. Love is not meant to be an abstraction floating in ideals without real-world engagement. But the problem with this hierarchy is that it feeds the myth that some people are more deserving of our care than others. It's a framework that makes sense in a world governed by scarcity and fear, where protection comes at the expense of others. But Jesus never speaks of love as something to be rationed. He speaks of love as abundance, a table where there is enough for everyone. Jesus redefines family not as a fortress to be guarded, but as an ever-widening circle.
Based. He's basically a communist. I'm joking, but kinda though, right? Like everyone deserves fair and equal treatment. Like, you know, like that's so anti the current fascist project that's happening in the United States and broadly across the West right now. And it looks like he's not going to waver on this. Now, keep in mind, like he's very new to this job, but it he's already obtained all the power. Like, you know what I mean? He's probably feeling more vindicated than ever. Why would he walk it back now? You know, he hasn't lived in America in a very long time. You know what I mean? His irons aren't necessarily in that fire. Like he can probably openly criticize the government in his mind with impunity, right? So I hope he does that because it's kind of a hellish world that we're living in right now. Okay, but thank you, Base Pope.